Hello there, everybody. Hello, hello. All right. Welcome to Unwrapped. I am Sari Kimbell. I am the founder of Food Business Success, and I help people just like yourself start and grow and create a food or package business, a handmade product business that you love. And I'm so excited to talk about this topic today. We're going to talk about launching a side hustle, like using your amazing, delicious, awesome idea that comes out of your home kitchen. You're going to package it up. And then, is it a good idea to start a side business, to start the side hustle? I have been getting lots of questions. It's interesting. Anytime it seems like we have a lot of upheaval, whether it be the pandemic or now with like a kind of a potential looming recession, I get lots of questions about starting a food business or starting that CPG product business. Like I get it. Like you're home or you're maybe feeling a little worried or it shakes up your priorities and you're like, but I really want to do this. I love this thing and my product and I think I want to take it to market, right? I think I want to start that business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you are here joining me when you're watching this, I would love for you to like this video, to subscribe to the channel, and to comment below. Let me know what your idea is, or if you have a question, feel free to type it into the chat. All right. So I guess, the real question is like, is a handmade product, whether it's a food product, a beverage product, I work with people who do body care, so lotions and shampoos and oils and things like that. And then also, I've worked with people who do pet treats and pet supplements. So, those are all products that are generally made in your home kitchen. And then you want to go and turn around and sell them to customers, right? Either wholesale or direct to consumer, DTC is what we call them. So many products. What I love about the idea of starting a side hustle is it can be expensive to start a packaged product business. If you want to go directly into wholesale, you want to be on store shelves, depending on the product, it can cost a lot more or less. But there's a lot more hoops to jump through when you want to go like to that kind of start at the end, like go big right out of the gate. However, we are very fortunate here, at least in the United States, that many products you can do out of your home kitchen. It's called Cottage Food and Cottage Food Act. There are a couple of other names that some states use, but the website I love to get more about, like learn more about cottage food and which products are allowed in which states is Forager. I think it's forager.com, but David Craybill's site is awesome. Had him on the podcast. So if you want to learn more about him, but he's going to give you like all the rules for each state. Now, that's for food, but actually, body care and pet treats you can do out of your home. I know I've worked with a client who has very successful pet supplement brand, and they may still be in their home kitchen. I can't remember now. They may be working out of a commercial kitchen or getting some of it made for them, but they kept it in their home kitchen a long, long time. Um, so yes, you definitely can start a lot of these things out of your home kitchen, which if you're going to do a side hustle is really ideal because those kitchens, those co-packers can be very expensive, right? It can add a lot to your cost. And I always love for you to, if you can, if you're able to do that, to get it started, learn, like kind of get your sea legs underneath you and figure out, like prove the product, right? Test it and see like what changes do I need to make and what are people asking for and how could I package this differently? It'll give you a lot more insight before you go to that next level of, working out of a commercial kitchen and really wanting to take this on more as a full-time, like replace your salary. But I do know a lot of people are like, "I don't want that. I like my regular job. I like the health benefits and the consistency, but I just wanna add my passion. I want to add this other thing, and I wanna kind of, not go all in, but start this little side thing." And I love that. You guys know I love entrepreneurship. I think everybody should be an entrepreneur, although hopefully if you're listening to this, you have that inclination, but some people don't, right? But I think entrepreneurship always, no matter the outcome, is going to grow you. It's going to challenge you. You're going to become a different version of yourself. And that's why I love entrepreneurship. But I also want you to set up your business to be as successful and as profitable out of the gate, right? There is going to be a little bit of an investment to get it going. So let's set it up the best way possible right from the start. So typically, as I mentioned, cottage food, if you're doing food or beverages, um, you can only do direct to consumer. So that means farmers markets, delivery, pickup, online sales, but it's usually almost always limited to within your state. So if you have a website, you would have to limit it to only people who also live in your state that can purchase it. Some states do actually allow wholesale. And then if you're doing some of those other non-food products, the body care, pet treats, some of those things, you're not as limited. Now, some stores may require more from you. So that's going to be kind of a store by store, case by case basis as far as licensing and whether they're going to allow that. But certainly online, you could sell those products nationwide just by putting making the products in your home kitchen. Okay, so I like you to look at 3 areas, 3 categories when you're thinking about, should I start this side hustle? Should I start this business? And I am actually going to be going further in depth and giving you some tools and some just going deeper and some ways to evaluate this on a workshop coming up on January 30th, 2023. If you're listening to this in real time, so. The link for Launch Your Handmade Business is down below in the description. And you can also just go to foodbizsuccess.com. But I am doing a live 4-day workshop, and we're going to go into each of these more. I'm going to give you some more teaching and some ways to think about it, because what I want to do is give you clarity. If you've been thinking about doing this business for a long time, you've like wrestled with it and you're like, I don't know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, right? And you're back and forth, back and forth. That takes up a lot of mental energy. And I would just rather that you get some clarity and feel good about whether it's a yes or a no. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this workshop. So if it's a no, you're like, okay, cool. I can still make this and give it away and maybe do even a little mini, super small side hustle with people where they buy my product, but it's like super local. We're not going to farmers markets and things like that. I want you to just be able to say yes or no, right? And make a decision. So here's the 3 areas I want to talk about today. So the first one is your product. So let's just look at your product. First of all, does it fit into cottage food? Or is it, something that you can make out of your home kitchen? I think when we're keeping things to a side hustle, we got to be really careful. We're not going to be able to scale up as big as right out of the gate. And so we got to really manage our expenses. And like I said, it can be very expensive getting the kitchen, getting all the extra licenses, possibly food testing, the packaging, all of that. So I want you to be able to start as small as possible. So is your product allowed? Right. And so that's the first question. And then if it is allowed, are you able to scale that up to some extent in your home kitchen? Because if you can only make 12 cookies at a time in your home kitchen, it's going to be very difficult for you to make a profit. right? And so looking at, is there equipment I could purchase, or ways that I can get a little bit more efficient and scale this up? Now, we're not going to like a 50 quart mixer in the case of like baked goods or something, but I'm just talking about like, can you make like what's the largest size batches you can make? Because that is where we start to get more profit, which is the next thing under product is, can we actually price this um, to have a path to profit? So much of the time, I see people do their pricing and their what's called cost of goods sold, COGS. I see them do this incorrectly. And when they start doing it correctly, they're like, wait, I'm not making any money. And I'm like, I know. So it's really hard to compete, of course, with like big scale manufacturers. But if you're taking your granola to the farmer's market, for instance, are you able to price that in a way that you are highlighting like what makes the product really unique and special? And sometimes that's just you, right? Like you are unique and special and you're bringing you to the market, right? And people do want to support that. But we probably can't charge $20 a bag for your granola, right? So we need that a good blend of, yes, it's going to be more expensive than a grocery store granola, but what makes it really special and what can you bring to it that's unique? And can you scale it up a little bit? And then let's just check that pricing, right? Check that profitability. And then you also need to know like what can and can't I do? What's the licenses, if any, that I need, food safety, taking the course for cottage food if you need to, depending on your state, different rules there. Getting your packaging, right? So you got to like pull everything together that gets you a finished product. That's the goal here, right? Is we want a finished, labeled, packaged product that I can I can sell to somebody else and they can take it with them. So that's the first one. The second thing is opportunity. So, do you have places that you can go sell this, right? Is there true demand for your product? Now, we have to be a little careful here because your friends and family are liars. I say that with love. They mean well and they tell you, like, of course I'll buy this product. I would love to support you. Yes, I want your product. I want your product. They may be the reason that you're even thinking about starting a handmade business product or handmade product business. It may be them that have been telling you this, right? But there's always, it's like we call it the wallet test, right? It's like, are they actually willing when you have a product, are they willing to open their wallets and actually pay for it? And are they willing to do that more than once? Because you will get that initial influx of family and friends that are like, okay, cute. I want to support you. But then is it something that they're going to keep buying over and over again? And you might want to look at, like, if you want to go to farmers markets, go and look at your competition, right? Like, is there a lot of other granolas, for instance? Like, that's going to make it more challenging for you to get into that market. And or if there's not, then there may be some really great opportunity. But really try to do some testing on that. And that's also why I don't want you to, I want you to spend as little as possible getting this side hustle up and going so that you can test it. In the startup world, we call it failing fast, right? So I want you to test it and like you got to take your bias and your passion out of it and be like, let me really see what people are doing and look at this objectively like a scientist. And maybe I can make some tweaks here and there. But what are people really asking for and what are they actually willing to pay? We actually need people to pay, right? So looking at the opportunity, places, demand, competition, like what is that landscape like? So that's the second thing. So product first, opportunity. And then the third thing I like you to consider is just, do you want to be an entrepreneur? There are other opportunities, there are other side hustles out there that you will just do the work, you will get paid, and you will be done, right? It's like you have no operational things, you just go in and you do the thing, right? If you really just love baking cookies, maybe you go work for a bakery on the weekends, right? Or in the evenings. There are ways for you to express your passion as a side hustle without necessarily owning a business. And I love for people to consider, and we're actually going to be doing an entrepreneurship quiz in the 4-day workshop coming up. But I really like for you to really be honest with yourself. Like, do you actually want to be an entrepreneur? What I'm realizing after working with foodpreneurs and CPG entrepreneurs is that um, I've been doing this now I'm in my 7th year of business, which is amazing, helping hundreds of people start their businesses. But what I'm realizing is that some people are starting them just because they're so passionate about their product and they just want to get it out to everybody, but they have zero passion, zero love, and don't want to have any love for actually having a business, for being a business owner and operating and running a business. And it's my personal belief, as I said earlier in this, that I think entrepreneurship is the most amazing thing. I think it helps you grow and evolve yourself and to learn and become more resilient. And you're going to learn a lot of new things as an entrepreneur. And I do think you can fall in love with running a business as much as making your product for most people. But just be aware of that you are going to have to run a business. You're going to have expenses and income and money coming in and out. You're going to have taxes. You're going to go have to sell, right? You're going to go have to make offers to people, ask them if they will buy your product. It can be really uncomfortable for some people. And just because it's out of your comfort zone doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. But I just want you to be aware of the realities of being an entrepreneur. There's just going to be operational things, there's going to be paperwork, there's going to be all the behind the scenes things that if you just go to work and you show up and you do your work, somebody else is dealing with all of that, right? But now you get to do it because you're the business owner, which is so fun. There is always going to be a risk, right? Anytime you start a business, you are taking a risk. You are making an investment of your time, and there will be some money investment. And so just knowing that up front, that it always could fail. I mean, you could always also be fired. Like things happen, right? But it is a risk and just understanding am I tolerant of some risk? And that's why I love starting as a side hustle out of your home kitchen because it's a lot lower investment and you can test it and make changes without it being this huge investment. I've worked with brands where, the initial investment's like 100K. And that sometimes feels like a drop in the bucket to what is that they actually need. Now they're maybe a totally different product that's more challenging, not needs to be refrigerated or frozen, or it's a meat product. They want to come out of the gate with beautiful branding and co-packing and all the things. But you have this beautiful opportunity, depending if your product fits, to be able to start this small business, right? And, I should mention, just to backtrack a little bit, I think places to sell are also online and potentially like Etsy can be a really great place. Now, keep in mind, cottage food, you are supposed to only sell within your state. Um, I know that people don't follow that rule, and that's not for me to say here or there, but I'm just telling you the rule. All right. So that's really the third thing is entrepreneurship. Is it for you? And I'm going to help explain. I'm going to go through what to expect, right? Because I think you can learn it, but there has to be a desire to learn, right? I hear a lot of people inside my program, Food Business Success. I catch them as they're saying, I'm just not good with numbers. I don't know technology. I'm terrible at technology. I'm terrible at spreadsheets. And that is not an entrepreneur mindset. An entrepreneur mindset says, I'm not good at it yet, or I am learning technology or I am learning how to do my numbers, right? There's this curiosity and willingness to be a little uncomfortable and willingness to learn. So it's super important. And do you enjoy solving problems? Because as an entrepreneur, we always have 10 problems in our business all the time. Always, always, always. So if you just expect it and you're like, I'm just going to get really good at solving problems. And I love solving problems. So I will help you all day long with that. So those are the three areas: your product, opportunity. Where can you sell it? Is there opportunity, places for you to go, demand for your product? And then just, is it for you, right? Is this doing this kind of business for you? So, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be going to each one of these categories and a lot more in these short workshop days from January 30th to February 2nd. So, it's a 4-day workshop. It's $19. That's it. 19 bucks will get you a decision. So, launch your handmade product, 4-day workshop. And you can go to foodbizsuccess.com/launch or just go to the main page. But what I want you to walk away with is knowing for sure. Like, I want you to have the clarity. I don't want you wondering anymore, should I do this or should I not? Make a decision. Yes, I want to. So, what's my next step? Or, thank you so much, Sari. That $19 was the best investment I ever made to know that this is not for me. And I don't want to invest any more time and money in this right now, at least not right now. You can always redecide, but clarity is priceless. That's what I do as a coach all the time, is help people create more clarity so that they can take their next steps, right? There's so much power in making a decision. So we're going to evaluate all of these factors because I know what you guys are doing. You're here on YouTube. You're Googling, how do I start a food business? You're on YouTube. How do I start a food business? And I'm so glad that you found me, but I want to get your questions answered because that's really, it can be like you hear different things all the time. It can be really contradictory. It can lead to confusion and overwhelm. And then you're like, ugh, I don't know, I'll put it away. And then, a couple months later, you get excited about it again. And I just don't want that stop and start anymore. I want you to be able to make a clear decision, yes or no. And then, of course, if it's yes, I would love to support you in that. And getting registered for this, we're going to have a private Facebook community. So you can ask me more questions in there. And there's going to be some really fun prizes and bonuses in this workshop and in our private group. So definitely, if you are watching this and you're in January, before January 30th, 2023, go get yourself registered. And we'll be doing more of these later, but I would love to see you there. All right, my friends, that's what I got for you today. I hope that was really helpful. And I really do think you should consider this. It can be a really good side hustle. I know people who pay for their family's vacations, who pay for a new car, who just also really enjoy being around people and all of the reward of seeing their product in other people's hands and using it and that satisfaction of other people getting so much joy. That can be priceless, right? But what I do see is when people go all in on the passion, but they haven't set themselves up for profit, it doesn't last very long, right? Because nobody wants to be paying money to also run a business. So let's make sure you're profitable. Let's make sure you're set up for success. And I'd love to see you on that workshop. All right. Until next time, have an amazing rest of your day.